Well, hello there. You caught me in the middle of lumberjacking. You see, here in Finland, that's part of the citizenship test for becoming a nationalized Finn, given that they have so much forests and pretty much nothing else. So wood is their national resource. Today, I wanted to talk about sleep. Not a very popular topic, trying to bring a little bit more humor to the mix. So essentially, high performance and sleep go together in pretty much every single field that you can imagine high performance existing. And that goes all the way from athletics all the way up to athletic or mental sports like chess and things like that. Now, it's quite clear that after some sort of athletic event or training, you need to rest and recover in order to rejuvenate your muscles. But we need to sleep after mental activity for the same reason we need to sleep after a day in our lives. And that is just because the brain needs time to recover and to restore, and the heart does as well. And that recovery actually depends on how much effort you put in the day before. So you might notice after a strenuous day of work or training mentally or chess playing or learning a bunch of stuff like a new foreign language or something, that you will need and take automatically more sleep. So what happens is, I'm not going to give you a number like you need 8 hours of sleep, you need 7 hours of sleep, you need 12 hours of sleep. It depends completely on your individual situation. So depending on how much physical activity you do, depending on how much strain you put on your brain during the day, these kind of things all matter. And so the important thing is that you don't enter into a sleep debt, because when you enter into a sleep debt, your performance suffers. Your learning goes down, your actual reaction speed goes down, your health gets depressed, your immune system gets depressed, and your endocrine glands start malfunctioning, your glucose metabolism starts becoming impaired, and you develop the opposite of poise. So poise is the ability to set aside our internal states and act in service of our values, and you start to lose that ability. You lose self-control, you increase interpersonal hostility, you succumb to impulsive desires more easily, you have poor attentional capacity, and you have compromised decision-making. All of those things are horrible for Counter-Strike and for League of Legends. If you're not even a professional player, if you're trying to learn the game, you can see that all of those will contribute to you having a bad day. Okay, so, by the way, your reaction time slowed. They actually measured that. So what they have is, they did sleep deprivation, and they tracked people about 2 weeks into developing sleep debt, and which was the maximum that it got. So like after 3 weeks and on, it was just like the worst it could be, pretty much, up until, of course, horrible reaction times. But 2 weeks was when it was approaching its maximum. And essentially, when you wake up from a sleep-deprived state, or from a sleep that's not enough to get out of your deprived state, you're okay. You're same as normal. But then each hour, your reaction time slows compared to somebody who's not sleep-deprived, who's not in sleep debt. And that would be at its worst about 69 to 70 milliseconds per hour of awakeness that you have. That your reaction speed becomes slower and slower as you get more and more awake compared to somebody else. And you can't restore sleep debt after one night of good sleep. It just doesn't work. Like, you feel refreshed, but then after about 2 hours, your reaction time will start declining, and all these other things will come up. So it has to be multiple days. You have to bank it up. Okay, I wanted to talk this vlog about tips for getting your nighttime routine under control, because this has been my biggest challenge. I really suck at sleep. In fact, I'm making this right now instead of sleeping, because as you can see, it gets really light in the summer here as it gets later. So I have a pre-sleep routine. I can whip it out whenever I want to try to force myself to go to sleep at a time when I'm not actually tired. And it goes something like this. You have to condition the brain to recognize that, like, your circadian rhythm is tuning down. And so I avoid physical activity within the hour and a half before I want to sleep. I try to reduce my exposure to light within the last hour, and that is especially true of like screens that emit blue light range and things like that. So you can actually get apps for your computer that will like naturally tint your light emissions from your screen so that it doesn't interact with your hormones in your skin when it hits your skin. And I have a routine, same routine. I go through, I have the same snack, I put on the same kind of sleeping clothes, and I, read the same kind of book or whatever before I go to sleep. And the uniform is essentially something that I adapted from Japan when I used to live there. Everybody there has a uniform for their job. It's kind of like a cultural aspect. You can see it, like they have school uniforms, the teachers have uniforms, salarymen have uniforms, office workers, construction workers. Like everybody has this kind of uniform to help fit in. And there's a lot of studies hilarious studies from the business department, business field, that have studies on uniform and how much it affects motivation and conditions the brain and stuff like that, as well as physical activity. People who put on like jogging suits are more likely to go out and exercise. So when you put on your sleeping clothes, and brush your teeth, you're more likely to become tired and go to sleep. Then I have 2 tips. One of those is a thoughts diary. So put a piece of paper or a notebook and a pen beside your bed, and you're going to have all of these crazy like ideas and thoughts as you're going to sleep. Some probably really good ones, some like, oh, I forgot to do this today, oh, I wish I did that. And you want to flush them out. You want to get them out of your brain. So write them down in the thoughts diary, and that kind of helps you like process them and not just like fret about them and be like, am I going to remember this tomorrow? I really have forgotten to do it 3 days in a row. I have to do it tomorrow. So just write them down. That helps. Second thing is meditation. I went through this period where I really sucked at meditation, and so it just made me sleepy. And I discovered, I can actually just do sleep meditation to make myself sleepier. So now I have 2 styles of meditation. I do one if I want to get sleepy, one if I want to get focused. And then sheer stubbornness. Like most people give up way too early when they're trying to go to sleep. They just feel not tired, and then they think, oh, I'm going to watch YouTube till I'm tired, or I'm going to do this till I'm tired, or they wait till their body to tell them they're asleep. But if you just lay there and force yourself to focus on sleeping, then you can pretty much overpower your body through sheer stubbornness and go to sleep. It feels like forever. 30 minutes of laying there focusing on sleeping feels like 70 hours. But in actuality, it's not that bad. The thing you don't want to do is let your thoughts run away. You don't want to be thinking about tons and tons of stuff. You'll be awake for 2 hours before you even notice it. So you have to focus on sleeping, like breathing. Counting is something that's been really popular in the pop culture, like counting sheep or whatever. The point is you're focusing on something else. That is how you ignore random thoughts. You can't like just shove random thoughts out of your brain. You have to focus on something else so completely that those thoughts just kind of like die away. So stubbornness. Okay, that's all I have for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. By the way, here's this forest where I live. It's not really that foresty, but in that direction, it gets pretty crazy.